why is my home not selling? Or worse off, my home expired. It's not even on the market and hasn't sold. And now, what do I do? This is a question that a lot of folks in the San Antonio real estate market have on their minds right now as of the beginning of 2025. So I'm going to dive into this question for all you folks that had issues getting your home sold. We are in the face of rising inventory. We have been for a while. Interest rates are still on the high side. In fact, they went up even after the Fed made their basis rate cut. So a little opposite of what people were expecting. We don't know how this is going to play out all throughout 2025, but right now it seems as though rates are still going to be higher in 2025. They may come down a little bit later on after some policy issues get ironed out with the new administration. But for right now, plan on seeing higher interest rates for longer and more inventory potentially on the horizon. I want to get into this video here, show you a little bit of data, and then give you some actionable details that you can take as a seller and with your real estate agent to get your home sold, especially if you folks were expired on the market. We're going to get into some of those details on why your house probably didn't sell and some strategies that are going to help you out. So first and foremost, let's look at what 2024 brought to the table as far as home sales. Home sales in 2024, we had about 11,000 to 12,000 homes sold in San Antonio. Now looking here, this has the home sales broken down by the number of days on the market. So sold in 60 days or less, you had about 7,000 homes that sold in 60 days or less. Homes that sold in 45 days or less came in at about just under 6,000 homes. Made that sale happen within 45 days or less. Sold in 30 days or less came in at about just over 4,000 homes sold in less than 30 days. And then coming down to even faster home sales, 15 days or less came in probably around 1,900 homes or so sold in less than 15 days. So, the congratulations to all those folks got their homes sold in 2024, even in the face of high interest rates. Now, I should mention again, San Antonio is still technically in a seller's market. Depending, if you're looking at the whole thing, there are some areas of the city that are, in my opinion, a buyer's market right now, especially in a downtown area. You would say that's going to be a buyer's market, but overall still in technically a seller's market. So it can be frustrating if you're seeing your neighbors getting their home sold and your home has not sold and you've expired. So next we want to look here at the expired data. So let's look at this at a different angle here. All right, from in 2015 we had, and this is from December 31st, 2014 to January 1st, 2016, 171 homes expired. Okay, so every year we look at that data point because it kind of gives us gives us kind of a feel for the market. Okay, so a lot of times when folks put their house on the market, a very popular expiration date is the end of the year, December 31st. So this is just a key. This is like an interesting data point to look at. And as you can see, 2015, 171 homes expired. 2016, 180 homes expired. 2017, 173 homes expired in San Antonio. 2018, 201, 207, and 2019. 2020, 154, so we're trending down. 2021, everything's selling there. We've got super low rates. only 87 homes expired in San Antonio that new year. And then 2022, we came back up to 193 homes expiring. 2023, 240 homes expired. And this year, at the end of 2024 and 2025, New Year's Day, 422 homes expired. So it's almost 100% difference from 2023 to 2024 in expired listings. So there's a whole lot of homes there, homeowners that wanted to sell their home, didn't get the job done. It didn't happen for whatever reason. I did go through the data. I'll show you this map here real quick. But here on this map, you can see huge concentration of expired homes in the downtown area. 148 homes in that area clustered there. Just to the east here, 27 homes expired. Further up north of downtown, 12 homes expired. 47 here on the northeast side of San Antonio expired. 23 further north homes in San Antonio expired. Out here towards Leon Valley area, San Antonio still. So none of these numbers include, they might include some of the Leon Valley, Castle Hills. 77 homes there expired. Out west, 45 homes in San Antonio expired, and far west, 21 homes expired. So grand total there, 447 homes expiring this new year, this past week. And so quite a wake-up call for a lot of folks in the new year that were hoping to get their home sold, and it just didn't happen. So I want to go over some of the common seller adjustments that can be made to get your home sold in 2025. And I'm just going to go over these one by one and have a quick discussion with you so that you can plan accordingly and get your home sold here in 2025. The first one, and it might seem kind of obvious, but repricing the home. Now, it's not a question of, well, I'll just knock off 1,000, knock off 500. You've really got to get into the actual data of the home sales in the area. So when you're doing the market analysis, and I do these quite often in different fashions. Okay, right now we're in a rising environment, rising interest rate environment. We're in a rising inventory environment is a better phrase for it. And what that means is you're going to have more competition out there. So instead of just remaining in the neighborhood that you're selling in, you've got to really start looking around at competing neighborhoods and considering those more often than you might in a lower inventory environment. So whatever competing neighborhoods are around you, go into those neighborhoods and find comparable homes there, especially if there's sales. What's the biggest difference? Why are people buying in that neighborhood versus buying in your neighborhood? What does that look like? And even expanding a little bit further, you may even go the entire zip code in some cases to find out what your positioning looks like there. Okay, so don't just position yourself in the neighborhood with your price, but position yourself within competing neighborhoods and entire zip codes, and even multiple zip codes. If you're in a smaller zip code, you may need to position yourself strategically to be competitive in multiple zip codes, especially if those zip codes have comparable neighborhoods. Okay, if the neighborhoods are in the same school district, same geographic boundaries like Interstate 35, 281, 1604, 410. If you are boxed in a geographic boundary like that, again, school district's very important, then you want to consider some of those other neighborhoods around you and look and see where you fall in with those neighborhoods as far as price. Okay, apples to apples. Okay, a single story versus a single story, two-story versus a two-story, all those good things. that you would normally do if you were just pricing in your neighborhood, but expand it out. Okay, because you got to see where you stand, because people have a bigger hunting ground now, because they have a lot more inventory to work through and to find a home. So they're going to be looking at multiple neighborhoods to find the right fit. Number two, enhancing curb appeal. This is something that I saw when I went through the MLS. I didn't look at every single listing, all 447 homes that expired, but I went through quite a bit of the homes that expired, and I noticed that the curb appeal on especially the lower end, a lot of these homes downtown, it was atrocious. And I can understand why they didn't want to do anything, because the house was fixer-upper or something of that nature, but the curb appeal still matters. The house doesn't look very inviting, whether it needs to be fixed up or not. Curb appeal still matters. I would still cut the grass. I wouldn't sell a personal fixer-upper property myself without having the grass cut, without having the trees trimmed. You've got to show as much potential as possible, even if the house is in disrepair. Show a blank canvas. It's very distracting for the buyers to look at a house online that is in just horrible condition. You haven't done anything to bring people in. And on the other end of that, if you have a house that is just kind of, maybe it was a rental house, maybe it does need updates, but you still want to do the best you can to draw people in as much as possible. You got to get eyeballs on your listing, and then you've got to get people in the door, and you can do that with curb appeal. So do as much curb appeal as possible to get folks in, whether it's a light paint job, mulch, cutting the grass, fixing a fence, things of that nature. Whatever gets people in, get that done with enhancing curb appeal. The third thing here is staging the property, especially if you live there. You want to stage that property. Every room matters. You want that room to look functional. You don't want things thrown all over the place. People are looking for space. You're selling space. That's what staging is all about. It's about decluttering, making every room look like it has a purpose, and it's not just a storage space, but it has a livable purpose. Especially if you have a smaller square footage house, you want to feel as spacious as possible. So stage the home. You can get professional stagers in there. You can visit model homes, get ideas if you're going to do it yourself. You can go to these home stores, and they can help you come up with some ideas. Bring photos of your house to these home goods stores. They're more than willing to help you, especially if you're going to end up buying a couple accent pieces to stage your house with, to give you some direction on what you should do with your own stuff. So try that out. Get high quality photos and videos. I can't tell you a ton of homes that I saw that went expired. They had like 5 photos, 6 photos, 8, hardly any photos of the property. So many buyers purchase properties nowadays online without having even been in the house one time. I had a listing just several weeks ago. Okay, it closed in December, and the buyers were PCSing from Japan, and they were VA buyers, and they never set foot in the house until the day of closing. This is a common occurrence that's happening more and more in the market. So if you don't have high quality photos or videos, floor plans, you're really doing yourself a disservice in getting your property out in the forefront of all the buyers that are interested in purchasing in the city of San Antonio. Okay, so make sure you have every room photographed that you can. Even the yard. If it's bad, it's bad. But if you're taking care of steps 1 through 3, then you're not going to mind having all these photos taken of the property. But it's very important to get that done. You could have virtual showings and all that stuff. But having those photos out there in the first place helps get the buyers interested in the property, so they save it, they come back, get their realtor to do a walkthrough if they're not going to come to the property, and actually make a purchase. You want them to be fully informed of the property, and getting high quality photos and videos is the best way to do that. Number 5, improving online presence in general. Multiple sites, social media, very important. Just like you're finding this video on YouTube or Facebook, you want to have that presence online in order to reach the maximum number of buyers that are out there in the marketplace. They do have a little bit of ADD. They could look at so many properties, they'll forget about it. But when you have your property on social and you're able to retarget and go back and remind those buyers that your property is available, this is a big help in getting folks to your property sooner rather than later. Number 6, offering buyer incentives. Right now, the biggest pain in the market is payments, okay? Interest rates. If you're not putting out the buyer incentives that you have, well, guess what? You're putting yourself in a position where you're making the buyers come up with it on their own. And I understand you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot and negotiate against yourself, but the builders are doing that right now. Okay, look at what the builders are doing. Go visit builders. First and foremost, they are selling. They are putting their incentives out there. They are getting the eyeballs on their product because they know what the pain is, and the pain is interest rate. So they're offering interest rate buy downs. They're offering home warranties. There's a lot of things that you can do other than offering incentives in the way of cash, but you can do a lease back. You can do flexible terms. There's all kinds of things that you can do as far as incentives to get buyers to look at your property. And 2 of those things I'm going to discuss at the end here that are related, but they're really uncommon, so I save those for last. Number 7, strategic repairs and updates. Look at what major buyer concerns there are. Are you looking to attract FHA buyers, VA buyers? Well, look at what they are concerned with the property. Find out from your agent, what are the major concerns, the repairs that really need to be taken care of up front. Get those strategic repairs taken care of. If you had any showings with your property previously and you had any mention of things that needed to be fixed, you may even want to go back and look at calling all the realtors that had looked at the house previously and find out what they noticed with the property. This is something I do all the time. Call the agents, even if they don't leave feedback, and just ask, hey, what did you notice about the property? Was your buyer interested? Do you have any recommendations what we should fix to attract the next buyer, especially if they weren't generally interested? They're usually more than happy to share that feedback with you and say you should probably fix A, B, and C, and those can be things that you can look at strategically to fix. And if you can't fix them, you can at least get estimates for the fix. So there's a lot of different things you can do. There's always something you can do the next time around when relisting your property to get it sold. It doesn't always have to cost you anything, but it can cost you some time and effort. And the last 2 things that you can do to get your house sold after being expired, is not so common. The first one is target marketing to your ideal buyer. Now, every home has an ideal buyer. It doesn't matter if it is a move-up home, if it's a luxury property, if it is an investment type property. Every home has an ideal buyer. Is it a multi-generational home? So figure out what your ideal buyer is, and then in the listing itself, you want to target, you want to cater towards that ideal buyer, because they're going to be searching online. They're going to be using keywords to find their property, especially if it has a mother-in-law suite or it has a master downstairs. Okay, master downstairs, you're looking at potentially a family with older kids. because the parents want to be downstairs. They don't really want to be upstairs with the kids. The kids are loud. They're on their music. They're on their phone. They don't need to be there. All bedrooms upstairs. Typically, you're going to see a family that has younger kids. They want the two-story. They want the game room. They want to be close to their kids. Single-story home. Again, you're looking at someone maybe that has mobility issues. They don't like two-story homes for whatever reason. Okay, so there's a lot of different avenues you can go with properties, but there's typically an ideal fit. Ideal buyer for that property. You want to target market to them. There's a lot of different ways you can target market to them. You can go Facebook. You can go YouTube. You can go Instagram. There's a whole host of ways to reach your ideal client. You can find their information online, target to that information, and bring them into the listing. And the second, and most is not so common way to find your buyer is if you have a home that has an FHA loan, a VA loan, or a USDA loan. This is not very common, but anyone that bought in 2019, 2020, 2021, and you have a low interest rate, you actually can sell your mortgage with the property. And I see this mistake a lot still right now. And this is kind of a limited time opportunity that you can do this. But if you have one of those mortgages and it has a really low rate, don't you think that buyers out there today that are facing a 7% rate or a 6.8% rate would rather have your 3.5% rate? That's a pretty big incentive. Not even the builders can match that right now. Builders are advertising around 4.9 percent interest rate, and they're having to pay $20,000-$30,000 in order to give that interest rate to the buyer. So if you have a home and maybe you have a little bit of equity, maybe you have a lot of equity, but there are buyers out there that can come up and pay that equity position and capture your interest rate. And I see it all the time. Investors are doing it right now. So you know that there's people out there buying it. If you want to sell your home for top dollar to a owner occupant that has the money to pay your equity position and buy your interest rate with the house, I think that's a pretty big advantage that you're missing out on, and I see it happening all the time. Okay, I've advertised a couple of homes like this. They did get interest, but for whatever reason, the buyer wasn't able to come up with the money. But assumable mortgages is a great advertising tool to help you get your home from expired or lingering on the market to sold. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit to here in 2025 and getting your house sold this time around. If you have any questions, you can reach me here at 210-260-6617. Be happy to answer any questions you have, and look forward to seeing you in 2025 get your house sold. Have a great day.